Dollar. Dirt on money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. New Mr. Ballen for us. Mr. Ballen, the most terrifying killer. The Jayme Closs story. Now, we was debating last week whether we saw this or not. And y'all, excuse me if a burp come out. We've been stuck for about 2 minutes trying to get me to burp, and it just won't come out. And it keeps feeling like it's coming, and it's coming. So it's right here, and if it do come out, like it's gonna come out powerful.
Apologize in advance.
Yeah, it's gonna come out powerful too, and I'm like, it's gonna be one of them big grown manly.
But back to this,
But we was like, because I remember the name.
I thought we
and
did.
I swear I feel like I know the story, but hey.
But I think it was something where we was like looking for videos at one point, and we came across the title and the name.
I swear I know the story.
This probably would be good to do, and we was like, we'll come back to it.
I swear, no. I swear, I know. I feel like I know the story.
You know okay. We'll see.
The name just comes off too. I know this story. I don't know.
But we haven't reacted to it, though.
You know how you had like that deja vu situation? And you just like, yo, I remember seeing that, watching it.
I don't know, babe. Maybe.
But a couple people did say they went through and they looked, and we haven't done it. Yeah. But with that being said, before we get into it, make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go if you want first support. All you got to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's visuals.
Lock it in with a thumbs up.
And you just burped twice. I saw you.
But I didn't.
But I'm just saying, you was able to burp. I can't burp.
Because I know
I can't get it out. Hush that fush. You said that same way I'm big girl. That what you said? Like my niece.
I'm big girl.
Hey, man, let's check it out. Let's see what's about. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get into it, y'all.
Cases like this don't happen. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mr. Ballen here. You probably know me from TikTok. In fact, I bet there's a percentage of people that are on this YouTube video just because they watched my TikTok version of this case, the Jayme Closs case. And so thank you for making the jump and watching the full version. I hope you'll stick around and you'll actually subscribe to my channel, because I'm trying to make YouTube my primary medium for sharing stories with the world. It'll be much the same content that I'm putting on TikTok, scary stories, murder mysteries, unsolved stuff, spooky stuff, dark stuff, just kind of anything that's compelling. And YouTube's gonna be the place where I try to do that primarily. And so I'm already committing to doing, one video on YouTube a week. I'm trying to make it 2. This is the first week I've done 2, so we'll see how it plays out. I do have, 3 kids and other job responsibilities, so it's a little hard to juggle, but I love doing this stuff. So please, if you enjoy this video and you like my content, please subscribe, please stick around. So with today's case, the Jayme Closs case, the reason I ended up choosing this one and making a TikTok version of it, now a YouTube version of it, is actually pretty straightforward. It's because even though it's true, if you were to make a movie out of this case, the viewers wouldn't really believe it, because the perpetrator in this case has no motive and has no history of committing any crimes. I think he had a parking ticket, and he targets a child. Putting that all together, you don't see that. That is not a popular archetype for a movie. The idea that there are just these random, perpetrators out there just targeting random children and harming them and their families. There has to be a motive, especially when it comes to children being involved. There has to be a motive. And in this case, there really wasn't. And even the perpetrator, when he was in prison, he wrote a letter to Jayme and her surviving family members where he kind of tried to explain why he did it, but even he didn't have strong enough language to communicate what it was. He made it seem like it was pretty complicated, and even he didn't know. He just said, hey, look, I'm not a serial killer. I just had to do this, and I don't really know why. So It's just one of the more disturbing cases when you go into it knowing that this whole thing was perpetrated by someone who had no criminal history. He had no connection to the victims except that he randomly had a chance encounter with one of them. And it just kind of happened. It's just one of those horrible things that even now, no one really understands, including the killer himself. So let's dive into it. In 2018, 21-year-old Jake Patterson is on his way to work at a cheese factory in Wisconsin. He'd only been working there for a couple of days. This is like his third day on the job. You know, he's this kind of typical guy leading a typical life in Wisconsin. And he's driving his Ford Taurus. He comes to a stop behind a school bus where middle school kids are getting on the bus. And he's sitting there and he looks up and he sees for the first time in his life a blonde-haired, green-eyed girl who ended up being 13-year-old Jayme Closs. And as he's sitting there, because this all came out in a very lengthy confession, so we have lots of details about this case. As he's sitting there watching Jayme, who again, he doesn't know, get on the bus, he has this realization that she is going to be the girl that he takes. He actually says that sitting behind the wheel, he's like, I realized right then and there that she's the one I'm going to take. And so a guy with no criminal history, he's sitting there coming up with this plan of how he's going to abduct this girl. And it would come out later in his confession, which again was very lengthy, that he put a ton of effort into planning out this abduction. So let's talk about Jake's plan. He takes his father's Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun, which is a very commonly purchased weapon. He assumed that because it is, so widely purchased, it would be hard to track. Okay,
wow.
So he takes his gun, takes a couple slugs, so he's got his weapon. Then he goes and purchases a balaclava, so a mask, a whole head mask.
And this fool said he's not a serial, right?
Don't know why he doesn't.
But you had the thought process to say, "Hey, I can get away with this because the weapon I'm going to use."
So much.
That's too much. That's too much effort. But I'm saying it's way too much effort for somebody not to be. Well, is this his only victim?
From the understanding, yes, because he.
That's somebody who's probably been bottling up thoughts, urges. And eventually just couldn't resist it anymore.
Yeah, and like he had no criminal history.
Yeah.
No prior criminal history.
Or what type of, well, never mind.
What?
No, I was going to say, what type of prior, like did he have any kind of previous run-ins with the law? But I was like criminal history.
He said no, he said maybe a parking ticket,
yeah.
but nothing like, yeah. This
ain't nobody ever called the police on this fool before? All right.
Weapon. Then he goes and purchases a balaclava, so a mask, a whole head mask from Walmart. He shaves his head, shaves his beard so that there wouldn't be any hairs, for forensic evidence at the crime scene. This is all so premeditated.
Also, what does he pay attention to? And just what does he do? What is his interest in his everyday life? Is he watching First 48? Is he interested in stuff like that? Do he watch crime shows? Because for somebody who's not to be a criminal, he's paying attention to the stuff he's trying to do. Excuse me, y'all. I told you it's gonna come out. I'm trying to be respectful.
But those are good questions because for you to see her, getting off the bus or whatever, and then this is gonna be my
first victim.
What?
But it's the measures he's taking. He even thinking about me. If I go commit a crime, I'm not thinking. All right, let me go get the type of gun I use. That's a heavily normalized gun that everybody has, you know what I'm saying?
So it'd be harder to track or whatever.
And then a lot of people who do crime ain't thinking, hey, let me get a mask, but also let me shave my hair, shave my face, my head, everything, so there's no hair follicles that can come up. But are you even thinking about skin cells? Because then you want to put on a mask on top of a mask. I'm saying, but let go.
For forensic evidence at the crime scene, this is all so premeditated. He went out and purchased gloves and wiped his gloves all so they wouldn't have prints on them. He purchased steel-toed boots and dark jeans and a dark jacket. In the car he was going to use, because he plans on abducting Jayme, and he knew he was going to be keeping her in the trunk. He cut the cord inside of his vehicle. It was the when you press this button inside the car, it would open the trunk. Basically, he didn't want any access to the trunk unless you have the key. So he cuts that cord. He disconnected the dome light inside of his Taurus, his Ford Taurus, to try to better conceal him when he's in the car. I mean, this guy, he's really thinking hard about how he's going to do this. He knew he was going to go in that house, he's going to take Jayme, and he had his big plan, right? 2 separate times, Jake tried, unsuccessfully, to abduct Jayme. He drove to their house the first time, and there were cars in the driveway, so he got spooked and he leaves. He comes back and he's about to drive up the driveway when lights come on, so he leaves again. But on October 15th, 2000...
So he had ample chances to, all right, because I've never done this before. I had 2 occasions coming to the house that veered me to say, maybe I'm doing it. I shouldn't do this. That's a whole different type of level of sick. First, I've never committed a crime like this, but for you to carry out that's a sick ass individual, bro. To think of everything. Then I approached the house the first time. Scared. I shouldn't do this. Okay. And you should have just acted on. I shouldn't do this and dip.
Was it even I shouldn't do this, or I'm not? It's just like out of fear. It ain't even that necessarily that I shouldn't do this. It's just like I'm gonna come back when like you really have like the clearance to do so. Like when it's either less people or whatever the case may be. I don't know.
Weird. To drive up the driveway when lights come on, so he leaves again. But on October 15th, 2018, unfortunately, he was successful. It was around midnight when Jake Patterson rolls into the Close family's driveway. The lights in his car are off, the headlights are off, and he rolls into the driveway. And inside of this very modest home, Jayme was sleeping with her dog, Molly. And Molly hears the car pull into the driveway and starts barking. Wakes up Jayme. Jayme looks out. She sees a car she doesn't recognize. It's the middle of the night. And she runs to her parents' room and she alerts her parents. Jayme's father, James, he goes to the front door with a flashlight. Meanwhile, Denise, that's Jayme's mother, and Jayme retreat into the bathroom where they shut the door. They sense that this was potentially going to be a home invasion, and certainly they were right. So they actually barricade the door with a dresser that was in there, and they get in the tub and they shut the curtains. And so James is at the front door and he watches Jake Patterson get out of his car, calmly walk up the steps to the front door. And at this time, James is thinking that perhaps this is the police. And so when Jake arrives at the door and starts banging on the door, James shines his light out through the window, kind of gets a peek at him, then moves over to the door itself where there's this little tiny window on the door. Wow. And he looks through, shining the light, and he says, "Show me your badge." And unfortunately, it was at the same time that Jake raises his shotgun and pulls the trigger, shoots right through the glass, hits James, and James dies immediately. Wow. Back in the bathroom, Jayme would later say that when she heard that shotgun blast, that she knew that her father was dead. And I think Denise, her mother, knew that as well, because immediately Denise picks up her phone and calls 911 as she's talking to the dispatcher who said that there were no police in the area. So further confirming that this was definitely not the police, because they didn't see that interaction at the door, they just heard it. Jake at the front door is trying to bust in the door. He can't do it, so he takes his shotgun, ejects a spent round, and then puts a slug through the doorknob, making it come wide open. He pushes it open, steps over the body of James, and begins to search the house. The house is empty, every door is open except one, and it's the bathroom door where Denise and Jayme are hiding in the bathroom. Jake begins to try to push the door open, he can't do it, and finally he just starts trying to smash the door in. And after 10, 15 blows, he actually managed to split the top half of the door open, because the dresser was blocking the lower half. He goes into the bathroom and he rips down the shower curtain, and there is Denise bear hugging and protecting her daughter, Jayme, in the tub. Jake hands duct tape to the mother, Denise, and tells her to put duct tape over the mouth and the hands of her daughter. She refuses. She's protecting her daughter. Jake sets his shotgun down, pushes Denise aside, and does it himself. And then, after getting Jayme out of the tub, he picks his shotgun up again, aims it at the mother, turns his head, and he pulls the trigger and he kills the mother. Picks up Jayme. She's only about 5 foot, 100 pounds, and he drags her out to his car, opens up the trunk of his Taurus, puts her in, shuts it, and he's on his way. He was in the house for a total of 4 minutes. He would say in his confession, Jake, that as he's driving away, about 20 seconds after departing the house, he saw all the cop cars coming down the road.
Damn.
And actually, police officers would say they remembered a Taurus yielding to the police cruisers as they came in. He makes his way around them and off he goes. And Jayme would say she remembered hearing the sirens, and then they fade as they disappear. Jake would drive 70 miles to his house where...
Damn, that far?
30 miles.
Yeah, he's sick. He's sick as fuck. What was the dad name?
James.
R.I.P. to James and Denise. Just trying to protect their daughter. Just James protecting the household like any man should. I know we can all say things like, I just wish like he didn't confront the situation. And instead, you know what I'm saying? Like immediately call the police. Cause I know we can all say, hey, he should have did this, should have did this. Cause I think confronting the situation sometimes it doesn't allow you to properly. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Cause by him going to the door, I know where I'm trying to go, but like the right wording. Mm-hmm. So it's just because I think approaching the door was, me personally, I do feel like it's the wrong idea.
I guess it's always like just trusting your gut, because knowing that 9 times out of 10 probably was a home invasion or something.
Y'all saw it coming.
Something out of the ordinary. So yeah, go ahead. You can always say shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like can't take anything back. Can't change anything. But future for anyone that may come across something like this or encounter a situation. Like if you trust your gut, like if you feel like something is off, especially it's midnight, like
midnight, a random car by itself.
Yeah, it's midnight, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna go ahead and call authorities, so that they can either notify me if police are in the area and something is going on, or so that they can be on their way just in case. Like I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
But
he did what he was supposed to do as a man.
What he protecting his home, protecting his wife, protecting his child. Yeah. So, yeah, I never.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Definitely can't take that away. But
I'm not.
It's just sad to know that hearing your father get gunned down and then seeing your mom. Like, that's heartbreaking. Like, that breaks my heart.
And knowing 20 seconds.
And then not even know. And that too, 20 seconds later, here come cops. You driving me away. This is a stranger. Not knowing if I'm going to live. Not knowing what's about to happen to me.
Because let me say this.
Things I'm going to have to endure.
Let me say this. I wonder, did they call the cops after hearing the gunshot, or did they call?
That's what he said.
Yeah, so it's after the shot.
After the shot, she went ahead and called.
If she called the police beforehand, it's a possibility.
Maybe.
But we can't. Yeah, we can't like linger on that. But
remember hearing the sirens, and then they fade as they disappear. Jake would drive 70 miles to his house, where he would keep Jayme prisoner. For the next 3 months, investigators, the local population, everybody is looking for Jayme. And at the same time, I mean, people didn't have high hopes for her safe return. I mean, in the vast majority of cases like these, where a child's been abducted, unfortunately, they usually don't get home safe. And so the whole community is just devastated. This is gaining national attention. Everybody's looking for Jayme and they can't find her. The whole time, she was being held 70 miles away in Jake Patterson's cluttered, kind of crummy house that was out in the middle of the woods. When they got to his house, he burned her clothes and his gloves and the duct tape. He gave her his sister's pajamas, and then he had her go under the bed, this bed he had in the house, and he barricaded her underneath the bed. And so she had a pillow and a blanket, and she was just underneath this bed. And you know, that was it. She basically was ignored. I mean, her captor, Jake Patterson, he puts her under the bed and he warns her, you know, if you leave or try to escape, you know, bad things are going to happen to you. And because she did witness him kill her parents, she knows he's capable of that, and he knows that she knows that he's capable of that. So he had this stranglehold on her where he basically just said, you're staying under the bed. And don't you dare leave. And she listened. And frankly, you can't blame her, right? You know, and so she would go stretches of 8, 10, 12 hours of laying under the bed with no food, no water, no bathroom breaks. But ultimately, she was just kind of ignored. There wasn't really a plan for, you know, what was going to happen when she got to the house. He just kind of neglected her. After 2 weeks where he was really on guard, and he told her that he was keeping a shotgun right outside her door in case anything went down with the police. When no one came looking for them, or when no one arrived at his place, he felt very confidently that he had gotten away with his crimes, to the point where he actually, Jayme would say, he started having guests over. You know, he had friends over, and he just told her, stay in the room, don't come out. And so for 87 days, that's how it was. She just was neglected. This poor girl was underneath this bed, you know, just wondering what the heck's going to happen. With obviously no time to grieve over the loss of her parents. Mr. Patterson, he really didn't leave the house. And when he did, I think he left one time to visit a grandparent, and he was very aggressive in warning her that he would hurt her if she tried to leave.
How old was he? Did he say?
No, if he did,
because he has his own crib. Yeah, I think he said it in the beginning, but he has his own crib. It was 2018. Could have had a work from home job. Could have. But my biggest thing is, what is he doing for income to be able to provide for himself?
Yeah.
Keep up and stuff, especially when you got friends. So, like, socializing, besides them coming over, you didn't socialize with anyone else? People...
Yeah, to never leave the house, just to always... Yeah.
Especially for work, right?
Yeah.
Especially because he does look young as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, I don't know.
The grandparent, and he was very aggressive in warning her that he would hurt her if she tried to leave. But for the most part, you know, he didn't leave the house. But you could tell in looking at this case that he became fairly confident that he was just going to get away with this. And so he actually applied for a job. And he left one morning to go to the interview. And it's kind of funny on his... in a dark way, he wrote on his what did he write on his application that he's an honest, hardworking guy, and under skills, he said he doesn't have much work experience, but he shows up to work and is a quick learner. And so here he goes. He goes out to just get a job and go back to normal. And when he left that morning, Jayme, who's under the bed, she's done. She's not going to be a captive anymore. And as soon as he leaves, she pushes aside the barricade of, you know, there's some weights that were there and dressers. She pushes it all aside. She runs out. She puts on his shoes, which are too big for her. She puts them on the wrong feet. And she runs out the door. She doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know anything, but she's gone. A woman was walking her dog around 4 p.m. Her name was Jeannie Nutter. And she sees this girl, this teenager, who doesn't have a coat on, she doesn't have gloves on. It's bitterly cold. They're in the middle of Wisconsin in the wintertime. And she sees her coming towards her, and she can tell kind of instinctively that something's wrong. Okay, this is not just some nice kid coming down the road. There's an issue here. And as she got closer, and the girl said, "I'm lost, I need help, my name is Jayme," the woman, Jeannie, said that she immediately knew who it was. She lived in the area, and she had seen the posters up for Jayme. She knew exactly who she was. She gave her a big hug and held her and said, you know, I've got you. I'm going to take care of you. And so holding her closely, she brings her to a nearby neighbor's house. She said, this is Jayme Closs. We have to call the police. And they go in there, and the homeowners got their weapons out, and they guarded the door, and they huddled around Jayme while Jeannie called the police. And the police just didn't even know what to do. They were so shocked that they had found Jayme Closs that it actually took a minute for them to recognize what they were saying and how urgent it was that you come here right now, because at some point her captor, who can't be that far away, is going to recognize that she's not there anymore. And so they send the police, and luckily Jayme is brought in and is saved. Certainly not from the emotional toll, but she's physically safe. Jake comes home from his big job interview, and he sees that Jayme's gone, and he sees footsteps leaving his property in the snow, and he goes out looking for her. And just because this is the way things go sometimes, he was immediately rounded up by the police. They found his car, they found him, and as soon as he was pulled over, he didn't resist. In fact, he immediately identified himself and said that he did it. Jake Patterson was given a life sentence without the opportunity for parole, so he will die in prison. But to this day, no one really understands how this could have happened. And going back to what I said at the beginning, cases like this don't happen. There's always some reason for a crime such as this. We can't, as human beings, accept that some stranger has the ability to randomly target a child and go as far as to kill their parents in front of them and hold them hostage when they have no criminal history. There's no red flags. He happened to see her getting on a bus, and that was all he needed. I mean, how could that possibly be the case? But in this unfortunate case, it just is. So that's going to do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please hit like and subscribe.
Do you think it was just random?
I mean,
I personally don't think it's just random.
and my thing is, the only reason I'm like, I can't say yes or no is because what other reason?
But like Ballen said, things like that just doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. So I can't wrap my head around the fact that it is just random, but then I don't have anything else to go off of and be like, no, it's not. But also my thing is the fact that it was just so easy for you to take her father's life, take her mother's life, and this is your first time ever, that's weird to me.
That part,
because you was so determined.
No one is a killer until they kill someone.
Right, true.
So you can't say we can't. I know we we really in society. What does a killer look like? It could be your next door neighbor.
That's
it could
not
be.
What I'm saying. Though.
No. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm just reiterating that. What I'm saying is there was a triggering factor within his head. It could have been somebody. She could have looked like somebody he fantasized about when he was a child. It was something that's within him looking at her that makes you so dedicated to. Because also, why having her kidnapped? Did you do anything with her? Did you just keep her underneath? Because that's a deeper psychological trigger point. It wasn't like you became obsessed with her. That no matter what, you had to get her, and you had to kill anyone that was in your way, quote unquote, to prevent you from taking her. So after you get her there, what all did you do? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna ask you another thing. Do you think if it's not Wisconsin, because Wisconsin, they have some crazy laws themselves. Do you think he gets the death penalty if he's in any other state? If he's in a state that has the death penalty, because Wisconsin doesn't have the death penalty. One of the most notorious. He gets life without parole.
That's what he got.
Yeah, because Wisconsin, one of the most notorious killers of all time is from there, Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer also received life without the possibility of parole because Wisconsin doesn't have the death penalty.
But to answer
but he
your
was
question,
killed in.
But to answer your question, yeah, I think so.
So, like in Tennessee, you think he gets the death penalty?
I think so.
I think in Tennessee he gets the death penalty. Not that I'm an advocate of the death penalty,
but that's just what it. Especially the case, how the situation. Yeah. Most definitely. I do feel that way, but the case is just. it's strange to me. Just like like him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
strange to me, I should say. Not the case, but he's strange to me. Because I'm really like, for you to like not have a motive, or say you didn't have a motive, or say that nothing really like
Triggered.
like motivated you to like, hey, it's just one day you seen her getting on a bus and was like, hey, yeah, I want to do this. I'm
A 13-year-old child.
A 13-year-old child. And I'm also wondering, like, did y'all find anything, like, maybe on, like, his devices? Like, was he watching anything? Was he looking up certain things? Like, it has to be something somewhere. Or, like you said...
Because it's not even just not to interrupt you. It's not even the fact... Somebody with no criminal history. So you telling me he sat up here, he thought about killing... He pre-planned. There has no criminal history, no signs, no nothing, no motivation to do any of this.
Sorry.
You finish but you thought about, you pre-planned it. Even the way you planned it doesn't say, hey, rookie job. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, were you like watching and looking up and studying something?
Kidnapping
or
a
like,
child.
Like, it has to be something. Like, this is just not like a random, like, act and I have no motive. But then again, people are like really...
I wonder what she's doing now.
I don't know.
She's an adult because she was 13 at the time in 2018. What's that, 6 years ago? Mm-hmm. So she's 19 now. Mm-hmm. I really wonder, like, because she's 13. That's something she'll never forget. That's something that's gonna live with her forever. She's never gonna forget the image of her mom. Also, 9 times out of 10, they came in through the front door. He exited the front door. So having to walk across your dad's body, seeing your dad laid there, those images gonna forever stay embedded in her mind. Being captive, then being put in their trunk. So tight spaces. It's so many triggering effects that can affect her for the rest of her life.
I'm so happy that she was like,
I am too. Yeah.
I'm not doing this. I'm over it. Like, I'm not gonna continue, because there's no telling. Like, if he would have like eventually got tired of just holding her captive and did something, even, worse than what you've already put this girl through. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just glad she decided to
fight,
get up, and was like, I'm
glad she chose to be a survivor and not a victim. Mm-hmm. She got tired of being the victim, and she said, I have to fight and become the survivor. Because honestly, the easy way is just to be a victim. Like, unfortunately, that's very easy to be a victim. Mm-hmm. It's harder to be a survivor. Mm-hmm. And especially, like, she her mom and dad is gone. She doesn't have them anymore. Because that's all she had. Because that would seem like it was just her mom, dad, and her, right? Mm-hmm. And it seemed like she had any other sibling. Damn, that's when you start thinking about it like that. That's even sad.
That's even sad.
My immediate family is gone. It's just me now.
Yeah.
I mean, God.
Yeah, like, I know, 2018, I'm pretty sure, like, they went through I hope and pray they went through, like, the extents to make sure that she got the proper... Still to this day, but I'm just saying back then with her being, like, it just being super fresh.
Yeah.
Getting the proper help and whatever, counseling and just everything, and all the resources possible, because... You do not know what, like, if you've never been through something like that, or like a situation like that, or losing someone like that in that degree, like, you don't know what type of effect it'll have on someone's mental. So yeah,
I got another question for you. Mm-hmm. Do you think he lived the rest of his days out, or do you think he goes out like Jeffrey?
What are you asking me? Did he, or
I said, do you think he's gonna live his days out?
Is he still living?
Yeah, he got life in. Or do you think he goes out like Jeffrey Dahmer?
Mm,
Do you know what happened with Dahmer?
I can't remember what happened with.
He went out bad.
Was it the weight thing?
Wait, yeah,
The weight
dude.
thing?
Basically, do you think they take him out?
I mean,
Because it does happen.
I mean, I don't really think about stuff like that, to be real. So, I mean, your mind go there, but I don't really go there. I mean, if something happened like that, then okay, but I'm not thinking. I will hope that you sit there until you take your last breath, as far as if it's natural causes, whatever the case may be. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying, like, you need to sit there and suffer and do whatever. Like,
Could that not be suffering for him?
What?
Going out like that? Or that's an easy way?
Because I feel like that's an easy way. Because people will like for a lot of people, okay, this is miserable to me. I don't want to live the rest of my days like this. So it's easier for you to just be like, okay, take me out, and I don't have to.
Because a lot of people look at it like this: long as he lives, taxpayers got to provide for him. That he got to survive off everyone else hard work, and somebody like him. That's the reason why so many people are pro death penalty.
I know.
Because they're like, why are we basically providing for this man for the next 50 years, at least 50 years of his life?
I definitely get it. But unfortunately, he's not getting the death penalty. You got life. So
a lot of people would want somebody to...
Okay, to each his own. If it's easier to just have someone take them out, okay, so be it. I don't think like that. Yeah. Like, think about, well, I hope somebody just take them out, whatever. I don't know. I hate you asking me that question, but
I feel you. I feel you.
I mean, justice was served. That's all that matters to me. Like, and even with that, him getting life, he still got breath in his body. This girl parents are deceased. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh! I just thought about it. She wasn't even able to like attend.
Yeah, I thought about that while he was saying she wasn't able to attend because she was gone for
funeral
87 days, 3 months.
3 months or so.
And so when she escaped, she got abducted in October. So when she escaped, it was January.
I just thought
that's cold in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but it just sucks because at the simple fact, like, you got life, justice for some people, but for me, like, as forgiving as I am, the fact that I don't have my parents,
the ones that gonna care about you no matter what.
I don't know. It's just harder for me to even like. But yeah,
I feel you.
I don't know, man.
I feel you, man. R.I.P. to her parents.
Her parents, yeah.
Because they honestly didn't give up without a fight. Her mom and dad honestly fought to the end for what they could do.
Yeah.
But and her mom didn't just say, "Hey, yeah, I'm a," you know.
I hate stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say I do remember this case. I want to say I remember because it was 2018. 2018, we was working regular 9-to-5 jobs. So I want to say I do remember because
I just remember her name, and I think that's why when I kept seeing the title, I was like, "We've done this before,
yeah,
but we never did." But it's just because I remembered her name.
Was I working from home then?
I have no clue. Probably, maybe, but yeah.
What was I?
It don't matter. You was at that job. But anyway.
Okay.
I definitely remembered her name. So I think that's the reason why I felt like we had did it before. But
yeah. But hey, man, y'all spam us up in the comments, man. Let us know y'all thoughts and opinions about it for us in the comment section down below. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are. We are.
No time to kick it, got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partner.